Joining us is Ira Koplowitz, one of the founders and proprietors of Bittercube, who are across the river in Wisconsin. So if you ever take a trip out of town, you can visit them. Ira, do you want to take it away?
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. You actually said my name correct, which most people don't. So that was nice. I'll repeat that though, since you did such a good job. But my name is Ira Koplowitz. I'm the proprietor of Bittercube, and we do produce a line of cocktail bitters here in Milwaukee. We have a big presence in the Twin Cities as well, and we get up there for a lot of events. It's an awesome place. Thanks for joining for this workshop. It is just one virtual getaway during the 24-hour Jaycation fundraiser. These events are free, so please do consider donating to support TCJU folks, community building year-round. It is an awesome organization, and any donation that's given today will be matched, which is pretty rad. So make sure to donate, and hope you enjoy the demo that we're gonna do. We're gonna make a smoked rum old fashioned. I'll talk through all the steps, how to build it from start to finish. If you don't have these specific ingredients, I'll talk about a couple other things that you also could use while you make the cocktail. So yeah, let's just jump in, huh? All right. So we're gonna start with a really amazing a maple syrup that's produced in Wisconsin as well. But this is very special because it also includes, it's infused with our cherry bark vanilla bitters mash. And so we take the leftovers from the bitters and infuse that into the syrup. So it's this really beautiful syrup. If you don't have this syrup, you could of course use a regular maple syrup. You could use agave nectar or honey, or you could use a simple syrup if you had that at home. If you didn't have any of that, certainly you could muddle a sugar cube with a little water if you had to go that route, but I would certainly try to make sure that you do have some syrup. Okay, so we're gonna start with 1/4 ounce of the syrup. I've got this this fancy jigger. If you didn't have one at home, you could do like a couple of spoons worth, right? A couple tablespoons worth would be fine. Okay, so that is the syrup component. So we've got this awesome Jamaican rum from a company called Plantation. This is a really beautiful, kind of funky, interesting rum. We're gonna do, so this old fashioned that we're making, this is a classic old fashioned. This is not your run-of-the-mill muddled cherry and orange brandy old fashioned with 7-Up or something. This is gonna be the original cocktail. This cocktail dates to 1806. It's actually defined in 1806 as spirit, sugar, water, and bitters. 4 ingredients. So we're gonna stay true to those 4 ingredients. For the sugar, we're obviously using the maple syrup. We're gonna use this Jamaican rum. People often think of an old fashioned with bourbon or rye or with brandy, but really you can use any spirit. So we're gonna do 2 ounces of the Jamaican rum. So that's 1, 2, okay. All right. So next up, we're gonna do the bitters. You probably noticed that I didn't put ice in right away. Oftentimes when you go to a bar, when you're making a cocktail at home, you start with the ice, and then you start building the cocktail and you realize, oh no, I don't have an ingredient. Someone gets your attention. Well, you've already thrown the chocolate chip cookies into the oven, right? And they're not ready to go into the oven when you put ice into the cocktail vessel and then start building. So we always want to add ice right at the end. That way, if you do have to run and grab something or someone gets your attention, you're not already cooking the cocktail. So we're gonna do Jamaican No.1 Bitters. So these are allspice ginger, black pepper, clove, really spice forward bitters. They're great in the fall and the winter, and they're really great with rum. All right, so we're gonna do 2 dashes, 2 healthy dashes. I'm gonna give it a third because I own the company. Why not? You know. Okay, so that's that. We've got the syrup. So of the ingredients in the original cocktail, spirit, sugar, water, and bitters. Now we have spirit, we have bitters, and we have sugar. So the next component is going to be the water, which is going to come from the ice. Okay. But before we get there, we're going to do the smoked portion of the cocktail. So we have these cocktail cedars. So these are it's Spanish grade A cedar, and it's really great for a number of things. You can use it to light a cigar. You can use it to flame an orange disc into a Manhattan or an old fashioned. You can actually infuse them into spirit to create unique flavor, but they're also really great to smoke a glass with. So I'm just gonna just get it lit first. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of get it close to the, where I'm gonna actually, can you see this? I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can see it. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of slowly choke out the flame there, and you'll see the smoke will enter. I'll just leave that there for a couple seconds, and then I'll remove the cedar, but I'm just gonna let that glass take on that smoke until we get ready to pour it. Okay, so now we've just got ice. So you could use, we're not going to shake this. In old fashioned, you're going to stir. You don't want to add too much aeration. When you're shaking a cocktail, it should have citrus. When you're stirring a cocktail, it should not have a citrus component. So when you see someone shaking an old fashioned or a Manhattan, it's probably not going to be the best one you've ever had. But you don't have to have this fancy cocktail glass. You could use a pint glass that you have at home or any kind of tempered glass. I have these big cubes, so I'm gonna actually break one to help the dilution along. And then I'm going to add some more ice. Then we're gonna stir. If you don't have a fancy bar spoon, that's okay. You can use, you probably don't want to use just a regular spoon you have at home because of usually they're pretty wide and it's not going to spin very well. So just grab a chopstick. I mean, I know we all have had probably lots of like Chinese food during this pandemic. Like, you know, you're going to get a lot of like delivery food. So you must have a few chopsticks at home. Grab one and we're gonna spin the cocktail. You can see it's just a light movement. I mean, there's really not a lot happening other than we're diluting the cocktail and we're making it cold, but we're not adding aeration. So this is gonna probably take, 30 seconds roughly. If you have really small pieces of ice or like ice shards, it's gonna go a lot faster. And if you have, I wouldn't recommend using like the really big like chunk ice that you might put the cocktail over. And a lot of people will just stir an old fashioned in the glass that they serve it in, but you really want to use more ice than you're going to serve with it so you can get that proper dilution. So we're looking pretty good. I'm just gonna give it a quick taste. Since I'm gonna be the one drinking it, I'm just gonna taste it from my own spoon. But if you were making it for friends, you could, of course, grab a straw or use a different spoon. Okay, it's actually pretty good. You can kind of see the water level started to rise a little bit and it started to get a little bit cold. That's exactly what we want. So from there, I'm gonna turn the glass over. I don't know if you could see the smoke, probably not, but there was a little bit of smoke still in the glass. I'm gonna add some fresh ice, and then I'm just gonna strain the cocktail. I'm using this like fancy julep strainer. You don't have to have this. You can use a tea strainer. You could use the spoon as well to just kind of block the ice. But the whole concept is we're just blocking the ice from the cocktail. You could reuse that ice if you wanted to. I would just pull out the big chunks. Okay, next up, we're going to do a garnish. So this is where we are going to introduce some citrus. We're going to do a grapefruit peel. I really like grapefruit with rum. I really like it with Jamaican No.1 Bitters. I think it's just probably my favorite citrus for a garnish for an old fashioned, even a whiskey old fashioned. Okay, so we're just going to basically peel right through, top to bottom of this, and we're gonna get this like nice swath of peel, and we're gonna get the outside of that is gonna have a ton of oil. So we're gonna squeeze that over the cocktail. It's gonna soften a little bit of the sweetness and round out the cocktail. If you didn't have this fancy Y peeler, you might have like the potato peeler that's flipped. You can use that. It's not as easy to use on citrus. I would recommend just taking a knife and cutting a swath there. So then we're just gonna squeeze the oils right over the cocktail. You could use the cedar again here if you wanted to flame those oils. That would work too. But I'm kind of running out of time here. This was a 15-minute demo, so I had to get right to it. And here I'll show you. This is a pretty cool Bittercube rocks glass. Yeah, you can get your own Bittercube rocks glass and our bitters, of course, at our website at bittercube.com. We also do cocktail classes, hour-long cocktail classes where we cover a topic in detail and demo 2 different cocktails. Sometimes we'll have a guest on. You can join those. I think we actually have one coming up soon, I think. But either way, we're going to be doing those through the holidays, and we have been kind of doing those since the onset of this pandemic as a way to just help people get out of their bubble for a minute, even though while they're still home. So yeah, that's the smoked rum old fashioned. I think it'll pair perfectly well with the Jamaican cuisine. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna do a cheers like this. Boom. Cheers to anyone else making a cocktail. Oh, it's delicious. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm gonna tune in for some more of these events. It's gonna be a fun Jaycation. Thank you so much.